this.
Yeah.
I suppose all of these forms, the idea that there could perhaps be across the various disciplines, strata and forms of expression, some kind of golden rule, seem to infer a oneness, a truth that in earlier forms of language may be expressed as the idea of God, wholeness, oneness. Where do you stand on the? Do you believe in God?
Well, the Jungian idea is that there's not much distinction between what Jung described as the archetype of the self and the idea of God. And the self would be something like the totality of your being across time. Jung thought of Christ as a symbol of the self, and the reason for which is a very profound idea. It's an amazingly profound idea. I mean,
Go on, unpack that a bit.
Well, you can if you think about the story of Christ from a psychological perspective, and you strip it down to its essence, what you essentially see is that the story of Christ is the ultimate tragedy. And the reason for that is that the ultimate tragedy is the worst possible thing happening to the best possible person, right? That's the ultimate tragedy. That's what makes it an archetype. You can't go past that for tragic, right? So it's an innocent man who is completely sinless, who is working on behalf of only the good and the truth, broken and destroyed, early and young, and betrayed as well. So that's the ultimate tragedy. And so then there's a comedic element to it in the technical sense, because a comedy has a happy ending.
Technically, wouldn't it require a flaw? You know, like for it to work comedically, there would need to be a flaw in Christ. Is it that he is God made flesh? Is that the flaw?
Well, it depends on what you mean by comedy. I mean, we tend to, as modern people, to think of comedy as something that's humorous, but technically, if you're looking at story structure, a comedy is just a story that has a happy ending, right? That has a positive ending. And
That's
of course,
all.
it's the resurrection story that makes Christ's story a comedy.
Ta-da!
Yeah, exactly.